to Margate's Winter Gardens GEEK 2014 and the first heat of the UK Classic Gaming Championships, sponsored by funstock.co.uk. Classic Gaming Championships are being run by Replay Events and sponsored by funstock.co.uk across the UK throughout the year. It's a pretty simple tournament, it's free to enter. You enter a heat, you play 5 different retro games, you log your scores on our special scoring database, and then if you've got the best overall scores at the end of the heat, then you win a trip to Manchester for the grand final and some special prizes and a medal. The games are chosen from a short list of 15, so let's take a look at the 5 games that have been chosen for this heat.
From the first to third generation pot, the game chosen for this heat is Balloon Fight on the NES, and you have 3 attempts at the balloon trip mode, which basically gives you 1 life to get as far through this course as possible. Quite a challenging course. This game might be reminiscent to a lot of iPhone game players as a kind of a one-touch bouncing up and down game, things like Jetpack Joyride and Flappy Bird. Whether they were influenced by this, we'll never know, I imagine, but this is a very, very similar style game. Get as far as you can without crashing, basically. From the 4th generation pot, the game chosen for this heat is NAM 1975 on the mighty Neo Geo. And it's pretty straightforward stuff. It's an arcade game. Basically, last as long as you can and score as many points as you can. Game similar to the game Cabal, which some viewers might be familiar with. Basically, you just scroll from side to side, point the crosshairs at things and shoot them. You're also equipped with grenades. From the Mega Drive pot of games, the challenge set here at GEEK is on Paperboy, and you have to play on hard difficulty level on the hard way street and get as big a score as you can. You do get 2 attempts. It is pretty challenging. And of course, the object of Paperboy, as I'm sure everybody knows, deliver the papers to the houses that are your customers, and if you want to, you can vandalise the houses that aren't. From the SNES pot, we have Super Smash TV. You have to play on the hard difficulty level, and basically you only get 1 go, and the idea is just to get as many points as you can. Pretty straightforward stuff. Smash TV, inspired by Robotron, similar kind of gameplay, and you use the SNES pad similar to a dual joystick control, with the D-pad moving your player around and the 4 buttons on the face of the controller to control the directions of shooting. For this heat, the game chosen from the 5th generation pot is Sega Rally on the Sega Saturn, and the challenge is to compete on the mountain course. 2 attempts, 3 laps, and the best time gets the best score.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come here at GEEK's Winter Gardens here in Margate. Time for the first heat of the UK Classic Gaming Championships. The tournament is now open. Sponsored by funstock.co.uk and endorsed by Retroplect.
So the inaugural Classic Gaming Championships heat, first day, has been open for about 20 minutes. We've got a queue of people waiting to participate. All the entry form is done on this database. The names are put in there, and then later on their scores are added as well, which will update the main scoreboard throughout the course of the day. Time to go and take a look at the stage. competitor in the Classic Gaming tournaments. How have you been getting on? Let's have a look at your scores then. Oh, you've made massive improvement on balloon fight there. What did you think of balloon fight?
It was alright.
Yeah, it was alright. Quite hard. Do you think you're going to win the tournament with those scores? No. Well, we'll see how it goes. And what do you think of the games overall? How many of these games have you played before?
I haven't played any.
None of them. So do you think they're good games? Do you think they're interesting? So even though you're quite young and most of these games came out before you were even born, you still like playing some of the older games. Cool, great stuff. Well, good luck. Here we have the very first score sheet completed. So we're going to enter that on the database and get the scoreboard up. This guy is guaranteed top spot in the tournament at this point. Also, he's recorded a pretty awesome score of 1.9 million on Super Smash TV. His name is Martin Breer, and I'm going to go and find him after we've entered these scores in. So the scores have been entered into the database. Pretty straightforward stuff. We only put the top scores in, even though they have 3 attempts. Numbers there for Super Smash TV. Scores submitted. Okay, so we entered the first scores. They're now on the main scoreboard. As you can see, Martin is top with 500 points. I've managed to track Martin down. Martin, well done. You're currently top of the leaderboard. What are your thoughts about the tournament?
That's pretty good. It's
Yeah.
a nice selection of games.
Anything in particular you're proud of, scores-wise?
Smash TV.
Yeah, let's have a look at that score. Super Smash TV, 1.9 million and change. Did you used to play that when you were a kid?
Not a big fan of it.
No, not really, no, but you just felt the groove at the time, did you? Cool. Well, early days yet, obviously, but we'll see how it goes, and maybe we'll be awarding you that medal later in the weekend.
Excellent.
Cheers. We're just looking at a chap who's quite clearly played Super Smash TV before. His current score is just over 5 million. And he's still got 2 lives left, so this guy's definitely going to go to the top of the leaderboard on this game at least. Got a crowd built up to watch him play as well. So sir, just over 5 million on Super Smash TV. You will be going to the top of the leaderboard. I take it you've played it before.
Yeah, pretty much game of when I was a youth.
Right, okay, cool. And it's 5 million. How good the score is that? Do you think that's going to take you to the top of the leaderboard?
I was lucky to get some extra lives earlier.
Yeah, cool. And how's your hands feeling?
Pretty achy.
Yeah. We just updated the scoreboard again and got a peculiar scenario which probably won't occur at any other point over the course of the tournament. We've got 3 people tied for first place with 445 points, which is interesting. And this is one of the prizes that everyone's playing for in this heat. It's the Classic Gaming Championships medal, bronze edition. Pretty cool stuff. Nicely put together. And of course you also win a Dingu handheld console courtesy of funstock.co.uk and a trip to the grand final in Manchester. It's now just before 2:30 in the afternoon on Friday. Let's take a look at the latest rendition of the scoreboard. So as you can see, we now have 15 players who have completed their gaming for the day and logged their scores. And currently at the top of the scoreboard is Rich Baker with 430 points. Interestingly, Rich doesn't have the top score on any of the 5 games, but what he does have is a good overall score. He's usually in the top 5 of each game. So that shows that you don't have to be the best at any of the games to log the best, to be the highest on the total scoreboard. You can just sort of bubble under on each one and still be the overall best player. So let's have a look at what's going on around the different games. We've now got Smash TV on 2 machines because it does take a while to play, as our 5 million plus player demonstrated earlier on. So we've got 2 guys playing that. We've got 2 young chaps playing Sega Rally. These guys were not even born when Sega Rally was originally released in the arcades.
How many lives you get? Going for the high score of 3, I think. Can't hit him. How many hits do they take? Come on. Typical old school boxing. 3,000. High score.
So this is the first time you've ever played this game and you just beat the high score with 1 life.
It's a frequent game.
They just topped the Halo tournament as well.
Oh my god, what is that?
And the Sega Rally.
What was that? I have no idea, but I found this lost. Wow, I got annihilated.
So at the end of day 1, here's the final scoreboard. Some amazing scores been recorded over the course of the day, not least Connor McMahon, who on his first go on NAM 75 ever got 90,500 and tops the leaderboard. Unfortunately, he was let down by some of his other games, so he's just 5th in the table. John Buchan goes into day 2 as the leader, closely followed by Frank Gasking. So day 2 of the heat here at GEEK in Margate is now underway. Been underway for about an hour. And all the games are occupied. We've already had about 30 entrants this morning.
You're going to get like so much more. I win.
Yeah, you get points for everything you picked up in the whole level. So you suddenly go from having just under 2 million to like
Jesus, yeah.
nearly 3 million probably. So Daniel, who's never played this game before, has just got 4,401,400 points. How did that feel?
Oh, pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing.
You've never played this game before, and how old are you?
I'm 18.
18, so you were probably not even born when this game first came out. So that's pretty cool, well done.
Thank you.
It's the afternoon of second day of the tournament. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. We do have a new leader. Unfortunately, Daryl's name doesn't fit on the scoreboard very well, but it's Daryl Smith Durant is currently top with 420 points. He was the chap that yesterday got 45,000 on Balloon Fight and came back today and logged some more scores and has moved right to the top of the leaderboard. So lots of people entered now, over 120 people have entered the tournament and it's going pretty well. So I've managed to track down Daryl, who is currently top of the leaderboard and glowing a funny shade of blue due to the lighting. Daryl, how do you feel about being top of the leaderboard on day 2?
I am very, very shocked. I never thought I'd come top of the leaderboard. I'm not usually good at classic games, but in this game, so I'm like really lucky.
Yeah, you are. You're doing pretty well. You've got quite a big improvement on the score over the guys who are in second and third. But I do need to warn you, some guys have shown up today who think they can take your place on the leaderboard. So have you got a message for them?
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Thank you very much. So here we have the latest update on the scoreboard. Let's just take a little look. And Daryl is still holding the fort at the top there at the moment. But in 4th and 5th place, Bobby and Lawrence, the Retro Lords, are with me right now. Guys, you're separated by just 5 points at the moment. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Fix. It's a fix.
It's a fix.
Daryl Smith. He's come in here, he's hacked everything. And I'm not happy with it, I'll be honest with you.
So, are you coming back tomorrow to try and better those scores?
Yeah, we're going to come first and second. Yeah, we'll come first and second. This is just a practice.
Who's going to, yeah, I thought you might say that. Yeah, I thought you might say that. So let's take a look at the individual scores. Let's have a look at some of them.
One of it.
So, separated by 30 points on Super Smash TV. That's pretty close.
30 points to the back.
Who was the better of the two? You were. So that's basically the difference of the 5 points. It's 30 points on one game.
All you need to do is hit him once more and you would have been 5th. Yeah, but look.
Okay, here's one last look at the leaderboard at the end of Saturday, and Daryl is still sitting pretty at the top with a sizable lead. But the most interesting development is in 5th and 6th place, Bobby and Lawrence, the 2 Retro Lords, separated by a single point. Tomorrow could be very interesting. It's day 3 of the tournament. And the current leader, Daryl, is back again to try and improve his scores, currently playing Smash TV. We also have a lady playing Paperboy, one of her favourite games from her youth. Pretty quiet at the moment. What was that score? Let's have a look at your score. This is a new top score, isn't it? 6.8 million puts you top of the leaderboard, but I've got some news for you.
What is it?
Some guys just played Balloon Fight and got 125,000.
I must beat it.
So Sunday lunchtime, here's the latest update to the scoreboard. And Daryl has now moved up to 1st place on Smash TV, which has extended his lead at the top of the leaderboard to 440 points. And there's still some contenders taking part that haven't finished logging all their scores yet, so it's not a foregone conclusion just yet. Just after 2:30, and the leaderboard has been updated, and for the first time in almost 2 days we have a new name at the top of the leaderboard. Harry Thomas has taken the lead, having scored an astonishing 8.3 million on Super Smash TV, and even more astonishing than that, Balloon Fight, 117,500. So there's about an hour, just over an hour of the tournament left. Can anyone dislodge Harry from the top of the leaderboard in that time? So that's John Buchan, who was at the top of the leaderboard on day 1, just got 2nd place on Balloon Flight now with 86,750. And here is the current leader, Harry. Harry, you did look a little bit worried then.
I was at first. When I saw him get the 20 balloons straight, I was like, here we go, and he needs like a few more, and I'm done for. But no, I'm not glad, but like, 'cause I feel bad for him really. But
Well, it's good to have some stiff competition. So it looks like you might have the title in the bag. There's not much time left. How was it for you?
I'm not going to lie, it was interesting actually because I've never competed in these sort of tournaments. Obviously, back when I was a kid, I was only 5. My dad used to compete in tournaments a few decades back when around this sort of era, like pulling in the Neo Geo era, Nintendo era. So it's nice to get a feel what it was like when he used to compete in events and stuff. So yeah, it's been good.
So the first heat of the Classic Gaming Championships 2014 here in Margate is drawing to a close. Just a couple of players completing their games. So the scores will be all added into the database. The scoreboard will be updated and we will have our first finalist who will travel to Play Expo in October in Manchester to compete against the other winners of the other heats that are taking place during the course of the year.
Okay, we'll move on now to the big one, the one that's been running on the stage all weekend. The Classic Gaming Championships first heat. This is a tournament that's going to go across the UK during the course of the year, culminating in a grand final on Sunday in October at Play Expo in Manchester. Each heat winner does win a trip to the event. Travel expenses are included and hotel accommodation. They also get a Dingu handheld console and a medal, which we will be presenting momentarily. So we'd like to thank all the sponsors of this event, especially funstock.co.uk for providing all the prizes for the Classic Gaming Championships. You can go online to funstock.co.uk for a great selection of retro merchandise. First, I want to give you a few stats about the tournament. We're quite overwhelmed by the success of this and the fact that we had people aged as young as 6 playing games that are up to 30 years old, and also plenty of female players, plenty of older players. It's just a great thing to see that it doesn't matter what the games are, people just want to come up and have a go and have a play of the games. So we had a total number of entrants of 212. We had over 750 scores logged in our database, and we reckon on about 1,500 games played overall, approximately. So that's quite a fantastic thing. Thanks for everyone who took part. So in third place, and he did lead the leaderboard for a whole day, and unfortunately was then picked right at the last couple of hours. Darryl Smith to rank with 395 points. Darryl. And in second place, with 410 points, John Buchan. John did lead the leaderboard on Friday and then was usurped by Darryl and then worked his way back up again today. And so we come to the winner. He did play yesterday and logged some fairly decent scores and a couple of fairly average ones, I'm sure you agree. And then he came back today and really set the bar incredibly high with some unbelievable scores. The winner of the first heat of the Classic Gaming Championships, winning the trip to Manchester later in the year to compete in the grand final, Harry Thomas. And I'll just give you a medal. Let's just get a couple of words. What did you think of the tournament, first of all?
It's my first go to a tournament I've actually competed in the first heat of competing events, and for the first event it's been fantastic.
And what do you think the grand final is going to hold for you? Obviously you're the first entrant into it. Do you think the calibre is going to be equivalent to what you've seen today?